I said, oh my God, she's easy prey. Everybody's easy prey these days. But was there ever honor among thieves? Still, it's hard to believe. Somebody turn on the light. It's getting mighty dark. Somebody turn on the light. I don't care who you are.
Hi folks, it's Friday. We're back again. Welcome to the Suspect Plans Chat Club. We've got Tim Hain playing here for us a beautiful piece of reggae, founder of Blues and Reggae, and we'll play the full track at the end, and we'll put links to it later when we post all the show notes. Now folks, today is an exciting day because we've got a special guest with us. I'm so pleased. Come all the way from Washington, D.C., Soribel Feliz. Welcome to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thanks for getting up at this very early hour of 8 o'clock your time, breakfast time. And Reggie, good old Reggie, God bless you, 7 o'clock, you're up and at it. Thank you for joining us again, Reggie.
8 o'clock is a really decent hour. 7 o'clock is tough.
yeah, I bet. Well, good old Wayne Denner from Northern Ireland is sitting there with a smile on his face because it's 1 o'clock our time, isn't it, Wayne?
Nearly lunchtime, Paul.
It's lunchtime. It's nearly pints time. It's nearly beer time, Guinness time. We've got the Six Nations World Cup coming up, or the Six Nations big games tomorrow. Off to Twickenham, by the way, just to rub it in. Wayne got a ticket for the Ireland.
Very jealous. Very jealous.
Yes, that will be massive. So, look, just to welcome everybody to the Suspect Plans Chat Club, where we talk about AI innovations and ethics in marketing and business for 30 minutes every Friday, and we like to play an undiscovered artist every week. And this was Tim Hain, the founder of Blegay, which is blues and reggae. And we put a link to his music up there later on. We've got Reggie Johnson from Fort Worth, Texas, Director of Communications for Student Affairs at UNT Health. And Wayne Denner, who's from beautiful Warren Point, County Down, Northern Ireland, who is a safe tech talker and a safe tech educator. And we are delighted to say that we have Soribel Feliz, who has written and presented the enlightening LinkedIn course that we've been banging on about for a few weeks now, is saying this is a really, really excellent 1 hour course that everybody must take. And it's called Managing AI Risks, 8 Common Mistakes to Avoid. And we heartily recommend it. And we'll put the links up to it in the show notes on puresmith.org/blog. Now, let me do a brief intro that Soribel is a board member of various prestigious bodies and has worked for the US Senate, US Department of State, US House Committee, and both Microsoft and Meta, amongst many other amazing things. So I'll give a full intro in a few minutes. But we've been talking about the risks of AI and social media for many years now here on this, in our little chat. And we're currently tracking cases such as Australia taking the lead and banning social media for under 16s. France just passing a law banning under 15s. The UK, Denmark, Spain, Portugal, Greece, Germany, Malaysia, they're all considering doing similar. And right now in America, in Los Angeles, we're following very closely the LA addiction lawsuit, which we had Mr. Zuckerberg in court yesterday, his first time testifying before a jury in a civil trial of this kind. But the risks are not just big for the big tech companies, which we call broligarchs. I don't know if you use that term, sorry about the broligarchs, the big brother oligarchs.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the risks are not just on the big broligarchs, the big tech companies, nor on just their end users, the customers who are taking them to court at the moment in LA, but there are much bigger risks lurking out there for the companies and organizations like our own organizations and companies that are at risk when using AI, from whether you're a startup or an SME, small to medium enterprise, to a blue chip, or a government organization itself. All of these companies are at risk. And this is why Soribel Feliz's piece of work is of interest to us, great interest to, because it makes it crystal clear some of the issues that perhaps we're not talking about. So once again, Soribel is the LinkedIn author and instructor of this new course, Managing AI Risks, 8 Common Mistakes to Avoid. Now, just before we get stuck in, Soribel, I want to paint a picture, because I think you've an extraordinary career, actually. It's really colorful and interesting. So I just want to share that with people before we get stuck in. So you currently are a term member on the Council of Foreign Relations. You're a board member on the Future Tech Founders Fund. You're a member of the Board of Advisors on Artificial Intelligence Advances in Education. And you're an AI governance for healthcare systems and mission-driven nonprofits. And now that's where you are now, and other things. But I kind of get the sense that you're sticking up for the small guy half the time, which is great. And you formerly had such a colorful life, really. AI governance program management lead at the US Department of Homeland Security. Before that, senior AI and tech policy advisor for the United States Senate. Before that, policy fellow, AI American Associate for Advancement of Science. And before that, Microsoft and Meta, and before that, US Department of State. But I love this one, bilateral relationship manager, Sri Lanka and the Maldives. How did you pull that one off?
That was part of my diplomatic career.
Beautiful. What a job that was in Sri Lanka and the Maldives. And
Yeah.
a variety of other roles from Washington, D.C. to Sao Paulo, Brazil, Bucharest, Brussels. You're a traveler. You've been around the block. You've worked with the U.S. Department of State, the Thomas R. Pickering Foreign Affairs Fellow, United States House Committee on Foreign Affairs Global Fellow, and on it goes. So we are honored to have you with us. And I guess what I really would be wondering about the success so far of your LinkedIn Learning 1 hour course. It seems to be becoming popular. Is that a fair comment? How popular is it, Soribel?
Yeah, well, I track it really closely. And so far I have 5,800 and a few learners in 20 days.
That's
So
great.
not bad at all.
That's
I'm told
fantastic.
that it's like in like the top 10%.
Top 10%. Well, we're going to help get it up to the top 1% because it's worthy of it. And I say that as an educator, and worked in interactive online, this, that, and the other for many, many, many years. And it's just terrific. You've got a natural gift to write and to share information. It's not something everybody has, and you've conquered it in that 1 hour, this 1 hour course. And you get a nice little certificate that can go on your LinkedIn profile. So why not?
Yeah,
Why not do it? So we'll put the link to it. Now, I wanted to paint a couple of scenarios, and I'm going to ask Reggie. To paint a scenario for us, and then maybe you can jump in, Soribel, and tell us what you think of that. So Reggie, if I was your CEO and said, right, go and write a proposal for a big agency or something that we're going to engage with, off you go, Reggie.
Yeah, okay. So I want to do it, and I want to save some time, but do a really good, thorough job. So I'm going to go to Claude. I'm going to say, okay, Claude, write a proposal for a client, RedTech 30's $2 million marketing campaign, focusing on their new recruiting software launch in Q3.
Okay, that's neat and tidy. You can feed that in. So what do you think of that, Soribel? Nice little prompt.
Reggie, you need to stop right now and delete that prompt. Seriously.
Delete that prompt. Wow.
Yes. By entering, the name of the company, RedTech, the number of, the amount of money that you're spending on that. And by saying like you're launching new software in Q3, you're giving away so much information to Claude, right? Which is, think of it like writing on Slack. Even if you're not sharing your Claude information with anyone, it's still something that Claude can train on. It's still something that can be leaked, can be breached. So you should not put all of that information on Claude. You could say, give it like a fake name and say we're doing this marketing campaign. You don't have to say it's in Q3. You can say soon or in the next few months. But you cannot give all of that information because a competitor can jump to a lot of conclusions about it.
I suppose a competitor could put a brief into Claude and say, give me all the trends and detailed events that have occurred in or around this particular vertical in the last 3 months. And it might scoop that up and say, oh, did you know so-and-so's launching a bang, bang, bang. So all that could come out because it's been fed on. So, okay, Reggie, you're going to the back of the class, I'm afraid, after that performance. I thought it was good to start with, but wow, I'm glad you're here. Sorry, Bal. Wayne, come on now, let's up the game. You've got to write a performance review. Can AI help you? What would you do? You're muted, Wayne. Just go back again.
Well, I hope that AI can help me with this one. And I'm a kind of a chat GPT kind of guy. Sorry, Belle. So hopefully that AI is going to help me with this performance review. And my small team, I don't have the time maybe to bring in HR expertise. I'm going to look for the AI here, and I'm going to go into chat GPT, and I'm going to ask it to help me write a performance review on one of my team members who unfortunately is constantly missing deadlines on our healthcare platform project.
You need to stop right there. Stop right there.
Ooh.
Do not enter that kind of information into ChatGPT. Here's why. First of all, you're talking about something HR, which is something sensitive. It's confidential. So you're telling ChatGPT that one of your team members, an employee of yours, is struggling. You're telling them that 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 person is missing deadlines, but you're also giving a lot of information about your own company, right? A healthcare platform. Putting it into context, like, are you a startup and you're working on a healthcare platform? That information can be used to make a picture about your company and make a picture about what you're trying to do, right? So you should not enter HR information, and you should not let ChatGPT write a performance review for you. You can ask it to give you a template, right? For a general, you can give it like high level instructions, write a template for a performance review for someone who perhaps didn't perform so well this quarter or this half, but don't give it like all these details about missed deadlines and about your healthcare platform project.
Okay, got you. Sorry, Belle. Thank you for that. But presume this only applies to if you're subscribing at the lower levels. So either you're taking the freebie version of the AI, or you're doing what I do and pay for the $20 a month or £20 a month or whatever it is. Would it just apply to those because your data isn't ring fenced when you make queries, or would that apply to if I was a bigger company with a bigger whatever the next level up would be? Am I protected if I'm paying a full subscription?
You get some more protection than if you're using the free version, but it's not like you're 100% protected. You are still vulnerable to cybersecurity attacks, to data leaks, to data breaches.
Okay.
As you saw, I think it was last year, some of the information from ChatGPT was showing up on Google. It was actually searchable. And then you have to take steps to opt out and delete and set the retention time. And most people don't have this knowledge, don't really care for it, and most people don't do it.
Yeah.
So you have to be really careful. Even if you have enterprise, even if you pay for the pro version of it, you shouldn't enter all that information into
Gotcha.
Can I jump in with something,
Yeah.
Paul? One thing, Sorbel, you mentioned in your course related to the HR example was that you shouldn't use AI to make decisions that impact somebody's livelihood. I believe that you said something to that effect. When you're impacting somebody's livelihood, it should have more of a human involvement than AI making that decision.
That's right. And, AI is being used for management decisions like hiring, terminations, promotions. So, thank you for that, because it makes it even worse. This is a performance review, something that really impacts someone's mental health, someone's, emotional health, and someone's paycheck and someone's future. And so even the more reason to not let ChatGPT write something that is very sensitive and very consequential.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one of the 8 risks that you've highlighted in the course, where you say don't use AI to decide who you should employ in your business. Some things are for humans to decide. Use humans in the loop processes. AI suggests, but humans decide. So that's one of the 8 risks that you've highlighted. Can you just give us a list of the remaining 7?
Yeah. So the first one is, I think we went over it, right? Inputting confidential data into public AI tools. That's the
Yeah.
first one. And it's one of the most common, if not the most common. The other one is using AI meeting recorders without proper consent. And this is a huge pet peeve of mine. You have to ask for consent from everyone in the meeting before you turn on the AI meeting recorder. Um, Over trusting AI outputs without verification. And so that's where, what you said comes in, right? Like, write this performance review for this person and just take it as is. And then number 4 is using AI for high stakes decisions without human oversight. So that's where it goes into hiring, terminations, promotions. Um, Ignoring AI bias in HR and management applications. So this talks a little bit more about, just the hiring part of things, which is so sensitive, and it has gotten companies in so much trouble, at least here in the US. And then mistake number 6 is accepting harmful stereotypes in AI responses. So, for example, when you ask it to give you a job description and you want, let's say, a digital marketer, and you say, just give me a job description for a digital marketing person, and it says he has or he or she has to be a digital native or a social media ninja, right? That can, the ChatGPT can come back with a job descriptions that alienates maybe older applicants or alienates, let's say, if you say we need a work hard, play hard kind of person, that may alienate parents, people who want more work-life balance. And so you have to be really careful what you accept from ChatGPT and from other LLMs. Number 7 is copyright violations, which is very tricky because copyright law and IP law is being decided right now as we speak in courts. It's very tricky. There's a very fine line. And then the last one is implementing AI tools without governance oversight. So that is, let's just bring in all the tools and let's not even put a governance policy in place.
Right. I'm going to ask you time allowing about governance policies. But I mean, is this happening just before we get to that? Are people going to court? You mentioned there are some court cases floating about at the moment for copyright breach and others. Is it accelerating? Is there more court cases occurring? And
there are a lot of court cases happening. Some have been, courts take a long time to decide things, but the New York Times sue OpenAI, and then they come to an agreement. But authors sue Anthropic, and then they come to a settlement. And then another, like Getty Images, comes to an agreement with another AI company. So there's a lot of different approaches that companies that own the IP are taking. But in terms of the risk and the mistakes, yes, people are losing money, losing jobs, and damaging their company's reputation, as you could see with Deloitte.
Yes. Oh yeah, they certainly damage themselves by being lazy, I would say, just over depending on the AI, which is, as you say, always based upon potentially biased data. Just one for you here. I was just reaching for it there to see if I could find it. A sort of 20-page document I got from an American legal company, because I'm a published author of several books, about 7 books that are behind me on the shelf there. And I'm invited to participate in this coming lawsuit. So I sense that there's kind of the wheels are cranking up and the machinery is getting going to, they're saying AI came in, potentially stole all this knowledge and used it in their large language models. And now the kind of publishers and the others are coming back and saying, actually, there's a big opportunity for us here to get something back. So I think there will be more court cases, as you rightly suggest. Okay.
Let me throw in, Paul. I just read this morning about a Workaday. the early stages of a judge approving for notice to potential opt-in plaintiffs for an AI hiring age discrimination case against Workaday. So obviously this is in the very early stages where they just got approval to start notifying people and inviting them to join because of an age discrimination based on the tool Workaday. So I thought that was interesting to see where that goes, because this could be more of the consequences that can be coming down the line.
Yeah, consequences.
That's
Yeah,
right.
lots of more consequences. Okay, so go back to this copyright though. I think you said somewhere, sorry, Mel, that you are liable, not the AI company. So if I use ChatGPT to create a poster or an ad or something, am I liable, or would AI not be liable? Would ChatGPT not be liable? OpenAI or
Yeah, so it's interesting that, AI companies, you can do so much damage with it, but really they're not held liable. You are, as you are the employee of a
yeah,
company, right? So if someone comes in, and you reproduce their work, the lawyer is going to send that letter to you, right, and to your company. It's not going to go after ChatGPT because it was you who entered the
uh,
prompt. It was you who decided to use that image, use that
right.
framework.
So you've
Yeah.
said that that we should be, as marketers, for example, doing due diligence for any images that are created by AI or via AI. How would I do due diligence? Like, for example, the little poster I made of our chat saying, we're coming together, and I had our three faces in a street. I purposely kept you out of the AI. I manually put your picture in there afterwards, with your permission. But how do I do due diligence for images that I'm creating, or videos, or whatever? What would you suggest we do as marketers?
Yeah, so definitely you have to do a lot more. You have to go the extra mile. Uh, First of all, check for bias and safety, right? Like if you see any harmful stereotypes, or offensive content in that image, like first of all,
Okay.
check
Yeah.
for that. Um, but you have to review the terms of service. So if you're going to a platform like Midjourney, Dali, try to understand the ownership rights and the commercial usage
Mm.
rights, right? Do they have a licensing? Do they have licensing, right? Do they have um, any licensing requirements? So check for
Mhm.
that. Um, and then also assess if the model was trained on copyrighted material.
Mm.
So I mean, it's hard, right? Because most of these models have been
Mm.
trained on a lot of copyrighted
Mm.
material. But try to go the extra
Okay.
mile. Just try to sense the risk of, your image, putting that image out there, infringing on a third party into
Mm.
IP,
Yeah.
right?
Can I jump in? Can I jump
Um,
in there? Sorry, Belle. It takes me back to the early days of the internet when people used to rip off absolutely everything and take, images or whatever other content they wanted, until people started to get letters, and where the likes of the Getty Images and the other rights owners of content came on the scene and started to issue people with letters, and there was almost like a big wave of change.
Mm.
Would it be fair to say we're kind of at that sort of junction a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And I've talked to friends who say, "Hey, I put all of this together and, I share in the name of collaboration." And someone just took all of it, changed like minor
Yeah.
things, and is using it for their own good and making money off of
Mm.
it. It has happened to me. So I would say follow the copyright laws that existed before ChatGPT came in, and then go the extra
Yeah.
mile. Go the extra
Yeah.
mile and document everything as well.
Okay, document
In case
everything. Okay, I would encourage everybody to do all of that. Plus, whenever I'm sourcing information that I might use to write a report about, or even an article about, but I'm only using it for research, and I always ask it to cite the sources. And my experience is about half the times when they cite the sources, half those sources don't exist. They're non-existent. They're fake sources. So we
Or the
do have
links
the
don't
extra
work.
mile to do. Yeah.
The links don't work.
the links don't work.
Yeah.
So we do need to double check, do the human double check thing.
Well, and
Yeah.
do you remember Napster? Napster is an
Oh.
interesting case because people were sharing peer-to-peer MP3s of copyrighted music, but the lawsuit, because individual people sharing it didn't have any money, so the rock stars and the music labels went after Napster, which was this peer sharing platform, because they had some money and went after them. Ultimately, like, the company disappeared, Napster disappeared. They tried to pivot, but they couldn't. But in a lot of ways, going after Napster would be more like going after OpenAI for making all this copyrighted stuff available to create from.
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting, is because now we're saying they're going after the individual users or the businesses that have some money, probably, but they're not going after Napster or the Napster of today.
Yeah, the Napster of today would have to be the music platform. Anybody? The one that's causing the artists are giving out about.
Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify. All the artists are upset about. They're making crumbs. But anyways, and we won't get into the politics behind Spotify. But it's interesting when you say the Napster one. I remember my nephew in America. This is about 20 years ago. It was happening. Wiping hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tracks out, because I said, "Why are you doing that? You've taken years to collect these." And he said, "I don't want to get sued." And he was just an 18-year-old kid, but it could well be the same sort of thing right now. Big question to finish with, if I may. It's funny when time flies when you're having fun. Sorry, Bal, please. I have to ask you one more question if you can. And that is, you talk about AI governance and you give some really good examples in your online LinkedIn course. Just for anybody listening now, what are the key components that somebody, we don't want to set up a whole division of 100 people doing AI governance. If you're a small to medium-sized company or even a bit bigger, how should we begin to go about AI governance? And if I may just say that in your course, you take that at different levels, and you got to show an 8-week, 12-week, 16, 12-month program of simple things you could do to perfect and get better. But how would you start to become or to develop AI governance for a small to medium-sized company, we'll say?
Yeah, for a small to medium-sized company, I would start with identifying one owner, right? Like one person who can take this on and can be the POC for this, right? I would conduct an AI use case inventory to just understand how AI is being used in, the day-to-day life of my workers. What tools are being used? What are the risks of using these tools? That's in the first 30 days. The next 30 days, I would kind of do a ranking of risks. Like, okay, someone is using this meeting recorder. What are my risks there? This is high risk. I think this is one of the highest risks you can have. Someone is using this to create images and to create campaigns. What are the risks there? Rank them, and then make a decision on, like, is it an acceptable risk? Or is it an unacceptable risk? Should I prohibit people from using meeting recorders? Should I prohibit people from using AI for recruiting? Make those decisions. You're a small company. You don't have time. Bring any people from the outside. You don't have to, right? You can make those decisions on your own. So the first 30 days, understand how AI is being used in your company. Look at the risks, and then make a decision on whether or not this is an acceptable risk for you.
Very good. Step by step. Now, with the course, there's a lot of material. Reggie, you've gone through the material and found it to be excellent and useful. Summary of what kind of material comes with the course?
Sorbel, do you want to tell us? Did you want me to share what it was?
Either, yeah.
I just want to say, I thought the material was brilliant and worth the price of admission on its own, because you get so many great pieces. I'll let you tell us, though, Sorabella, what comes with it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of handouts that come with it. Yeah. So the 30, 60, 90-day plan that you mentioned, there's a handout that tells you exactly how to do that. There's also handouts for the risks matrix. So how to classify risk at work. There's other handouts, things like copyright, like how to go about doing due diligence for copyright. Yeah, I think there's a lot more. I'm blanking on it, but if you remember,
Well, there is a lot more, and what we'll do is we'll put a link to the course, and we'll to the notes that you can get, or the documents that you can get with it, which are really, really helpful. We will also we put that out on prsmith.org/blog. We will be talking about you for some time, I suspect, because this has been enlightening for us. It's been so good. Sorry, Belle, Felice. Thank you so much, and for getting up this on air. And say thank you to Reggie and Wayne for joining us as well. It'll be recorded so people can look at this in due course. So thank you so much again. Sorry, Belle. It's been lovely meeting you.
And thank you for sharing my course.
Okay, it's a pleasure, and we'll promote you wherever we can. So here's Tim Hain with this song about the NHS, National Health Service hospitals. Quite a political song, this one. The man who created reggae, blues and reggae. Nice way to play out the Friday. We hope everybody has a great weekend. And once again, it's a real pleasure meeting you, Sorry Bell. And everybody else, have a great weekend. Here's Tim Hain to see us off.
My gal's uncle, lying in a hospital bed, almost dead. He asks for water, 9 o'clock in the morning. They bring him his water, 6 o'clock in the evening, and I say, oh my God, I don't understand. The world we're living in, this is England. Can't afford water for a dying man. Spend millions on war and weapons. Can't comprehend. Somebody turn on the light. It's getting mighty dark. Somebody turn on